Re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol. Looks pretty simple on the piano vocal score, but as you can hear and see, complex orchestration. In Die Walküre, Act 3, The Ride of the Valkyries, by Richard Wagner, born in the Leipzig Jewish quarter, baptized in the Thomaskirche of Johann Sebastian Bach and Felix Mendelssohn fame. Do, so, do, me, so, me, so, me, so. Last phrase modulating B minor to the relative D major. Do, so, do, mi, so, do, mi, do, mi, so, mi, so, ti, mi, li. So the music modulates up another third, this time a major third, to F sharp, sol, la, fa, la, do. You can hear this back in B minor. Sol, la, fa, la, ra, so, me, so, do, me. Confirming B minor. This latter part of the melody cycling around again. It always outlines an E minor triad. But now check this out. Mi, so, do, mi, B major. First two phrases of the melody repeated in a very full orchestration of 2 piccolos, 2 flutes, 3 oboes, English wind, 3 clarinets, bass clarinet, 3 bassoons, 8 horns, 3 trumpets, bass trumpet, 4 trombones, and strings so far lacking bass. Singer on our G-augmented chord. Wagner's stepfather, the artist Ludwig Heinrich Christian Geyer, was possibly his father, and Wagner suspected that Geyer was Jewish, but he probably wasn't. They moved to Dresden. Wagner came under the sway of Carl Maria von Weber's early German romantic operas, and Wilhelm Schroeder-Devrient notion of the unification of drama and music, tempestuous marriage to Mina Planner, love, anti-Semitic hate relationship with composer Giacomo Meyerbeer, triumphant B major, showing that romantic notion of the equivalence of minor and major as one super scale. No riding in this staging conducted by Pierre Boulez, but the libretto does call for the Valkyrie warrior maidens dealing with the fallen soldiers in battle. Aside from the Song of the Rhine Maidens in Das Rheingold, this is the only ensemble piece in the first 3 operas of Wagner's The Ring of the Nibelungs. After the 1849 uprising in Dresden, there was a warrant out for his arrest, so Wagner had to settle in Zurich, Switzerland. He writes the artwork of the future, Gesamtkunstwerk, the total work of art. Affair with Jessie Lassault writes a horrible screed against Judaism, much better endeavor in his 4-opera magic ring cycle, starting with Das Rheingold, the gold from the Rhine River, and continuing with Die Walküre, the Valkyrie. Leaves his wife and dog due to an affair with Matilda Wesendonck, who inspires him to take a break from the ring cycle and write on the passionate medieval love story of Tristan and Isolde, ideas influenced by the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer. Gets major financial support from crazy King Ludwig II of Bavaria. Impregnates Cosima, née Liszt, who happens to be married to Hans von Bülow, Wagner's friend. Now she becomes Cosima Wagner. All these operas feature leitmotifs, leading motives, theme songs, that recur and are developed in a variety of ways. The German version of the French idée fixe, or the Italian reminiscence motive, but in many ways steps beyond, and constant melody in the orchestra against recitative in the singers. Plus, very progressive harmony. The half-diminished seventh that is so characteristic of Tristan and Isolde was so unusual in its day that it was dubbed the Tristan chord. B major, again. By now, Wagner has added contrabass, tuba, triangle, cymbal, tenor drum, 6 harps, and the basses are now in play. Additionally, the opera features contrabass trombone, 2 tenor tubas, 2 bass tubas, dubbed Wagner tubas, an invention of Wagner, a bridge between the mellow French horns and the mellow tuba, spanning the distance where trombones would be. Also, 2 sets of timpani, that would be 4, therefore, gong, glockenspiel. There's a 7th harp required on stage, and off-stage cow horn and thunder machine. Yes, Wagner wrote all the libretti to the ring cycle before a note of music. His bisexual composer, son Siegfried, is born, whose wife Winifred will live long enough to become a Nazi. Wagner finishes the 3rd of the ring cycle, also called Siegfried, goes right on with the 4th, Götterdämmerung, one word, the twilight or the damnation of the gods. Crazy King Ludwig finances the building of Wagner's ideal opera or music drama house at Bayreuth. The Bayreuth Festival continues to this day and has mostly been run by Wagner's many offspring. Wagner dies supposedly after having a hot argument with Cosima over whether he was having an affair. Meanwhile, Clara, like Schumann, musical parents, mother Marianne deserts the family. A melodic and natural minor. Father Friedrich raises her. Goethe and Paganini impressed by her. She's another child prodigy, performing her own piano concerto Opus 7 at age 16, wowing writer Franz Gilpartzer and composer-pianist Robert Schumann, the latter who permanently damages his fingers, possibly due to a finger-stretching contraption, marries Clara against the will of her father, and they are one happy couple, sharing a creative diary, even co-writing some compositions. But things go dark. Robert slowly goes mad during the time while they are getting to know violinist Joseph Joachim and the young composer Johannes Brahms. Robert and Clara managed to have 8 kids, 6 pictured here, but Robert commits himself to an asylum, dying 2 years later in 1856, leaving Clara with a very active career as a pianist, but hardly any time to compose. She is a champion of the music of Beethoven, Mendelssohn, her husband, and Brahms, and a sworn enemy of such radicals as Liszt and Wagner. Must be a jing, a rough man role in traditional Chinese opera. The white face means he's evil. On the eastern side of that great Eurasian continent, the Peking or Beijing version is a total work of art by the mid-19th century, combining vocal and instrumental music, drama, dance, sets, props, costumes, lighting, acrobatics. All the female roles are known as deng, and they were originally played by men. The sheng roles, not to be confused with the Chinese mouth organ instruments, are traditionally noble roles, and these days can be played by women, as you hear here. In both cases, there are Western parallels, such as the panthrol traditions. And what about that percussion? The paibang, the clapper, is often used by the conductor of the ensemble, somewhat in the spirit of many forms of popular music in the West. Surprise, the Chinese major pentatonic scale here on F. Do, re, mi, sol, la, do. Heterophonic plucked and bowed strings, further graced by acrobatic glissandi in the high falsetto voice. The principal sustained melodic argument in the upright two-string fiddle zhenghu, a relative of the erhu, against the heterophony of the plucked string yu quin, or moon guitar. While it sounds like there could be winds in this piece, it doesn't appear to be the case. If there were, they would likely be dizi flute, suona oboe, and or sheng mouth organ harmonica. Here are the clappers, by the way. And then those cymbals, both pairs, as in the West, of bow cymbals, and then those wild gong opera cymbals, which have been called dailu or tiger gong. They got descending pitch charm. Boo, boo. Peking in the opera is a continually evolving tradition, but if such percussion interludes go back indeed to the 1850s, they far predate percussion interludes in Western music, such as in Dmitri Shostakovich's The Nose, or full-blown percussive pieces such as Edgar Varèse's Ionization. The down walking here imitates the bound feet of women in 19th century China. With increased trade and communication, this music will have a profound effect on Peter Tchaikovsky, Giacomo Puccini, Claude Debussy, Maurice Ravel, Bela Bartok, Igor Stravinsky, John Cage, Tom Dunn, and myself, amongst numerous others. Do, mi, so, fa, do, mi, so. Pretty clear major 1 chord with a brief suggestion of 4. But check this out. Sol, le, sol, le, sol. Suggestion of minor. But now this. Sol, la, so, fa, mi, do, mi, so, fa, mi, re. Is this the romantic equivalency of major and minor, or the influence of blues? So, 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 fa, mi, mi. In South Africa, or simply the life experience of the Afrikaans people, the Boers, who are oppressed and are oppressors. Dutch migrants to South Africa, their language evolves. Boers is the Afrikaans word for farmers. So, 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 la, ti, do, do, do. They come into conflict with the native Africans, including the Xhosa, but the British are coming, and the Boers, the Afrikaans people, are on the move again. Mi, mi, fa, la, la, so, fa, mi, so, so. A great trek northeast. Mi, re, so, 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 fa, fa, mi, mi. Heroic, but of course the land is already occupied by others. So there are Zulu wars and Boer wars. The Afrikaners eventually achieved dominance in northeast South Africa, which eventually comes under British control anyway. Mi, re, so, 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 la, ti, do, do, do. And the 2 white groups team up to make sure that all others have little in the way of rights during the apartheid era, which doesn't end until 1994. 1 1 1 1 4 4 4 4 1 1 1 1 5 5 5 5. Each chord change is anticipated on the and of 2 in 2/4 times, so you already have syncopation. Mining begins in South Africa in 1867. Once again in the northeast, blacks from various tribes all over work within, and they're forbidden to talk. How to communicate then? Gumboots to protect from the muck. Light shirts. It was hot as hell down there. Creek or Muscogee people originally hailed from what we now call Alabama, Georgia, and even Florida. The guard dance, the call and response between an elder and young respondents. So do 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 te so fa 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 do so le le. Nice bluesy pentatonic scale with all the action at the top. Do fa so le te do. This opening in 6/8, the main song alternating 3/4 and 4/4. New scale. Fa mi fa fa mi do so do do. So we were in an E pentatonic. Now we're in an A tetratonic. Only 4 notes. Do mi fa so do. By 1832, they are on the move against their will due to broken treaties with European occupiers. Trail of Tears, the Creek tribe, and 4 other so-called civilized tribes are moved hundreds of miles to rather severe land in present-day eastern Oklahoma. We've skipped a bit. The coda is a stomp dance back in 6/8 or 2s with even more direct call and response. A fifth pitch is added, a lower T, so you get do, mi, fa, sol, ti, do. But that T is actually always below, so it's do, ti. But they thrive to this present day in this new location, celebrating their traditions, accompanied by turtle shell shakers. This recording from 1975 on New World Records. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Pentatonic again, indeed a pentascale. Eliphalet Oram writes, row, row, row your boat dates from this period. Usually done contrapuntally, tell that to these Ugandan children. By 1850, the Northern Arapaho rapid dance. So, mi, so, so. Chinese major pentatonic. Do, re, mi, so, la. Mi, re, do, re, mi, re, do, do, do. This is a 3-time signature. The drums are always on beat 1, but the melodic phrases always begin on beat 2. So we have do, do, sol, la, sol. Somewhat like Latin in the Middle Ages, hey-ya, ho-ya syllables are unknown, but